Do you want to see what kind of performance the Intel Arc B580 can do? Do you want to find out? Do you want to find out? Well, that's exactly what we're going to find out here in this video. So I got the Intel Arc B580 GPU off of Newegg for around $260, a little bit over MSRP, really a pretty good deal. But I'll tell you what, it sold out fast. These things are going like hotcakes. So if you want to get one, keep your eyes peeled because they're going to go very quickly. I was lucky enough to grab this and I want to put it into this Lenovo Thinkstation P520. See if this can be the ultimate budget build. We're going to see, because for this price of GPU, for this hopefully performance with a Lenovo Thinkstation that you can get off of eBay for, I don't know, 180 bucks, something like that, this could be a budget beast of a build. So we're going to try it out. Let's see how we do. So we're looking at the inside of my Thinkstation here and just a quick run around of what we got going on. Components, CPU, we have an Intel Xeon W2135. I think that's kind of the more common CPU that you'll get with these P520s. 6-core, 12-thread CPU, 32 gigs of ECC RAM. I believe it's 2600 hertz, 4 sticks. So I've got 4 channels going here, each 8 gigs. Right now, I'm rocking the RTX 4060, which has been really good. It's been pretty reliable with this build, pretty solid. I can play games at 1440p while I stream and record, edit videos, all of that has been fairly good. You know, you get the hiccups that you might imagine with a 4060 with only 8 gigs of VRAM and all that, but for this build, it's been great. So I'm excited to see if the B580 can up that performance. And then in here, I have 2 M.2 NVMe SSDs, each a terabyte. Actually, I think one of them is 512 gig, now that I think about it. And then if I just move the camera down a little bit, I actually have a hard drive in here. I have a 4 terabyte hard drive, really just for storing old videos and stuff. I do not play games on the hard drive or anything like that. I think that would be impossible these days. And of course you get the 900 watt power supply with the P520, which is amazing. So no problems with powering your components in a system like this. So we are now going to take out the 4060, put in the B580, and then we're gonna test it out with some games and see how it does. Definitely bigger than the RTX 4060, but shouldn't be a problem. We should be able to handle this size. That ought to do it. One 8-pin connector. There we have it. All right, so we were checking out the Intel graphics software, and you can see here it does recommend resizable bar, which unfortunately this motherboard in the P520 does not support resizable bar, so not much we can do about that. We're going to see if that's going to make a difference at all. Hopefully we still get decent performance. It does say right on the box as well of the GPU that resizable bar is recommended. As well as a 10th gen or higher Intel processor. Now we have an Intel Xeon processor, which I think is equivalent to more like an 8th gen non-Xeon. So we're going to see how this all works in a little bit. But if you're curious about all the hardware information with what we're working with, here it is. And here's the software information as well. And so we're going to jump into some games here very shortly. And then here is all of the metrics. And then you can tune some things here as well if you want to overclock and things of that nature. So pretty cool. So we're jumping into God of War Ragnarok, and unfortunately we're just not getting great performance in this game. Under 40 FPS here, using a lot of RAM. We're using the full GPU for the most part. You can see it's, you know, in the mid to high 99% usage, which is interesting. So I'm running this at medium settings with XeSS set to quality. Now we can obviously tinker with this stuff, but I would expect this to at least be a 60 FPS experience. At least that's what I get with the RTX 4060, so could very much have to do with the resizable bar issue, with the CPU not being a 10th gen. A lot of different reasons for this, but unfortunately not the most playable experience. I can bump things down just to go pure performance here, but you don't want to get a card like this and have to play in performance mode. That's kind of defeats the purpose. And that only gets you up to 50, so unfortunately just doesn't work great with this build. Alright, we're jumping into Elden Ring next, hoping for a little bit better performance than God of War Ragnarok. Unfortunately, not really looking like we're going to get it. We're getting around 30 FPS, similar to God of War. And let's see what kind of settings we're looking at here. 1440, ray tracing's off, we're on high settings. Let's try medium, see if that does anything for us. And not really. Definitely makes it look worse, that's for sure. And it's very stuttery. You know, it's not even a stable 30, 40 FPS. It's very kind of stuttery as I'm running around here. So, unfortunately, I cannot say that this one is too playable either, especially with a card like this. And I think it is, unfortunately, a limitation of the hardware we're working with. The P520 motherboard not supporting resizable bar, and the older Xeon CPU, I just think, is not accommodating to the Arc B580. So I was going to test some other games, but I think we're just going to see the same results. So I guess we'll just wrap it up here, and we'll talk about the results. Well, I did just run a quick Time Spy benchmark because I was curious about what kind of score we'd get, and it's a respectable 8002 with the graphics score at 8,437 and the CPU at 6,194. But then I went back and looked at what I was getting with the RTX 4060 and a 6700 XT that I had compared against each other a while back, and those graphics scores were about 2,000 to 3,000 times higher than the B580. So again, I think the P520 is limiting the GPU here, so I'm hoping for some better scores when I try this card again in another build. So I hate to say it because I really wanted this build to work, but I can't recommend the B580 and a P520. I really wanted it to work. I thought this would be a great budget build. Great prices on the GPU, great prices on the Thinkstation, but unfortunately they just don't mesh well together. So I'm glad we tried it out. We tested it to see what it can do. It just doesn't you know, have the right performance. I think with the P520, the NVIDIA cards are the way to go. The 4060 is actually a perfect fit for the P520. It's been great. I'm going to keep it in there. But I am going to try the B520 in another build. I have an i5-12600KF build that I want to pop it into. I think it's going to perform a lot better there. So stick around. That video will be coming next, and we'll give this B580 another chance. All right. We'll see you then.